Hi, I'm Norm Kern, and I'd like to welcome you to Access MC, Access to Motorcycling. Each month, we bring you motorcycle races, people, and activities. If you're already a motorcycle enthusiast, then this show is especially for you. Even if you're not currently a rider, there's no need to miss out on the fun. Motorcycles, riders, and activities are everywhere. This time we're going back to Greenville, Ohio, to the Treaty City Motorcycle Club to see another running of the annual Peace Pipe Enduro. In the past, this has been one of our most popular shows, so we thought it would be a good idea to go back and see yet another Enduro. I have with me Ron Rehmert, who's the referee of the Treaty City Motorcycle Club. He's also a nationally ranked A Enduro rider, and he's considered a double A rider, which is really good in Indiana. Also with me here is Nealeigh, who has been the chairman of this Enduro for at least the last 3 years. Fellas, welcome to Access to Motorcycling.
Hi, Norm. Hello, Norm.
He's got the green on that baby and everything this year. Huh? Name, address.
Any advice for new riders this year?
I don't know. Follow me.
Well, that doesn't sound like good advice to me.
It's not. Did they get it?
Oh yeah. Tim, you did pretty good last year. What advice do you have for new riders this year?
For new riders, oh, be patient at the mud holes. Watch for somebody to go through and then follow their line. Take your time, don't ride over your head.
But you don't want to follow anybody that gets stuck.
No, you don't want to follow somebody that gets stuck.
First, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Looks like you're going to have a beautiful day to ride. Shouldn't be nothing any deeper than 4 or 5 foot of water. Nothing out of the ordinary. First of all, #1 respect is our landowners up here. Some of you's from Southern Ohio, some of you's from Indiana. You know what it's like to go through fighting to get land. Respect the marked trail. We've got a couple of fields, clover fields and stuff that's staked along the edge of a plowed field. We was nice enough to get you the edge of the clover field so you wouldn't have to beat your brains out in the plowed field. Respect it. Stay between the stakes and the plowed fields. If you're going down somebody's yard, stay between the stakes and the rough part, or you know, you'll be able to define a line. Stay between the edges and the stakes. These landowners give up a lot of stuff to let us go through one time a year. So let's take care of what we got, otherwise next year there may not be anything. Turn number 8 and turn number 48. You will come out of the same woods, and it is marked both ways right now. On the early run, when you come through for turn 8, you will turn right. Those arrows are on top. When you come through the second half of the run, you will turn left coming out of that woods. Those are on the bottom. If you look at the mileage, you'll see that there's about 60 miles difference. If you go the other way, you're going to be there before the checkers even get there. So just be sure when you come out, you can mark it, circle it on your route card, whatever, so you know turn 8 and 48 is the same turns. I think it's like exactly 40-mile difference or something on the route sheet too, I don't know. Other than that, has anybody got any questions? The start will be right here at the bottom of the hill. Go right out through the gate there. It'll be right down at the bottom of the hill, follow the arrows right down into the swamp. We'll get you started out right this morning. Swamp, and then right on around, you'll come right out the end of the lane and onto the road. Be careful coming out on 571. It's just, there's a road section there. Nobody should have to hurry. Have fun.
Okay, I see the riders are ready to start. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what happens here at the starting line?
Now, Norm, there's 4 riders there. We start 4 riders at a time, and 4 riders are started every minute. On an even minute, they take off, and they're not really racing a head-to-head race here. Each individual rider is running against a time clock. They run on 24-mile-an-hour average, more or less man, machine, and clock, rather than head-to-head competition.
Yeah, I was told that this is about the only kind of competition where riders help each other at the same time they're competing against each other.
Yeah, sometimes, Norm, it's a desperational need there. Sometimes it's like, you help me, I help you. We'll get out of this mud hole and get out of here. Sometimes you run into those situations. More friendly type of racing than any other competition I've ever been in.
Okay, here we are at the first creek crossing.
That's one of your buddies there, Norm.
Yeah, I think that's Kirk Sessions.
Tree kind of got in his road there.
Yep.
Nice little easy creek crossing. Something natural at Greenville. Here comes our winning team coming down the hill here. That's Dickie Havener there. And that's Gary Evans coming behind him. And then you got Jim Stukenborg there. 2 old-timers and a middle-ager took the overall team event win this year, Norm. And we have the special event, Ohio-Indiana Team Challenge race, we call it. And those 3 took that trophy home with them.
Yeah, it's the best combined team score, isn't it?
Correct. And that's scored on, if you win your class, you get 1 point, seconds 2, and on down the line.
And as I recall, it was almost all Ohio teams that took the honors.
Yeah, it was, but in the class wins overall, Indiana won 9 out of the 12 classes, so it was kind of a tough situation there.
Yep.
As you can see, the longer it goes here, the tougher things are starting to get. Local favorite there, Jeff Cox, rides the Enduro every year. There we got a guy down.
Why is it that Greenville promotes an Enduro every year?
Well, Norm, we're kind of a motorcycle club and motorcycle people. We try to back, you know, any kind of motorcycling events that we can. And as the old saying goes, you know, take care of everybody. You just got to put on a little bit of different kinds of events to keep all the people in the area happy.
You've got a wide variety of interests represented in your club too, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of road riders, we have a lot of dirt trackers, we have a lot of motocross riders, a great number of Enduro riders. The Enduro's been around our area for approximately, I think, going on its 48th season.
Isn't the land up around Greenville kind of flat?
Yeah, you're looking at it. A few trees here and there and a couple ditches, that's about all.
Somebody told me once that if you wanted to have a hill up there, you had to dig a hole first.
Well, there's probably one of the holes we got there. A little water runs through now and then. That's not like southeastern Ohio. They got a lot of bigger hills, but we got mostly private land. It's kind of hard to run a lot on private land farmers.
You have to get permission for every piece of land you use, don't you?
Yes, we do. We have approximately 63 landowners' land.
Yes, we do. They're all private land and mostly fields farmed. So we have between the landowners and the farmers who farm the landowners' fields, we have approximately 63.
This was kind of a tight, tough section here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it got a little nastier than what we'd intended on, but another one of them spots, as you can see, a little momentum will sure help rather than slowing down a little bit in the middle.
One of them situations where you lay it out in September, October, and the run runs middle of November, and things just get a little bit worse than what you intend on.
You'll see the smarter guys will eventually find a way around.
Yep. Now, what's the rule on finding ways around? If you have double arrows or some kind of surveyor's tape around, they have to stay inside that, don't they?
Yeah. Normally that's only if you're in a dangerous situation, and you're allowed, I think it's 20 foot of marked trail, unless it's bannered off or double arrowed. Anything that's single arrowed like this, they're allowed like 20 foot either way to find a way through and still be legal. As you can see, they've found a way around now.
Ah, and here we have a checkpoint.
Yeah, this is where your points are taken away from you, Norm. This 24-mile-an-hour average is set up that every 4/10 of a mile takes you a minute. And approximately, I don't remember how far this checkpoint was out, but as they come into this check, if the time card's rolled up on their minute, then they zero the check, which in Enduro, that's the best you can do. If they're a minute late, they lose a minute, and you definitely don't want to be early. It costs you quite a bit of time for running ahead of time.
And I think it's, what, 2 points for the first minute and 5 points for every minute over that.
That's correct. So you don't want to be, you'd rather be a little late than early. It's more costly being early.
Well, I never had too much trouble with being early at these things.
There was our overall winner coming through the trail. That's Kirk out of Indiana. He's won the Enduro the last 2 years in a row. Brian Walker there behind him, both ISD gold medalists. They like Greenville because it's a little tough and challenging. See the board there, that's a good point to point out. The red and white board like that's a regular time check. The green and white board like that is an emergency check. That's where the seconds are counted also in case of a tie.
I don't see any checkpoint here. Looks more like just a swamp to me.
Now this is a nice little marshland coming down through the bottom of farmer's land there. From, I'd say that's about 60 foot wide through there, and it's all the same. Just some spots are a little better than others.
I think it's one of our favorite spots for the riders, I'm sure.
You think the riders really like this
Yes,
one?
I think
Yeah, they have
really
a lot of
do.
spectator encouragement in this area of the course.
Okay. Well, an interesting thing that I noticed, I was here at this same place the year before that, and then, a lot of people are concerned about ecology and tearing up the ground, but I noticed when I came back to this spot, in fact, in spite of the fact that it's such a mess right now, it heals itself because the ground is so soft, and fresh weeds grow, and after about 6 months or so, you can't even tell that anybody ever came through there.
Well, believe it or not, Norm, it takes us approximately, as you can see, he's found a log. Takes us approximately 3 or 4 trips across that section to knock the weeds down so you can find your way across there.
Yep.
All of our woods, all of our land heals from the winters. You can't find your path the next year to go back in them. They're just not there.
A fellow there's a local there around Greenville. That's Greg Melling. I think he figures out he didn't have much of an advantage today or something.
Maybe you should have kept the front wheel a little bit lighter, a little bit off the ground.
Yeah, it's a good idea in a spot like that to be on the back of the seat with the throttle on and just wait for something else to happen.
Like this guy.
I think you just
Yeah, you
went,
got a couple guys there that's been through stuff like that before.
I notice that a lot of times, when you're standing here like this watching from the side, a lot of these guys don't take a very good line. But I know that when you actually are riding one of these things, you don't look around nearly enough, and there may be a much easier way, just a few feet to one side or the other, and you just don't see it.
A lot of times your faster riders don't really worry if it's good or not. It's how quick you're going to get through it. A lot of motto I was always told when I started was don't think, just hit it. Sometimes it pays off. Most of the time it'll pay off for you, but there's that 1 or 2 times that you'll pay for it.
Greenville's got a reputation for being fairly tough. Why is it that you like to make this run so hard?
Well, Norm, it's not basically by choice. I mean, we lay out, like Lynn says, we usually start September, marking the woodses, and that time of year everything looks really nice. You get stuff laid out, and then come November, you know, fall rains, farmers' crops come off, you got a little wash, you got open fields. If you get a good rain a couple weeks before, it can make it nasty, but on a good dry, well, there's another fella found the wrong line. But time goes on, and you know, depending on the weather, if we have a good day, our run's normally pretty easy. A couple years ago, we had trouble figuring out all the zero scores to see who was going to win on the tiebreakers.
We work with the land we get. We don't make it any harder than we absolutely have to. We're fortunate to get the land we got.
It's tough driving around seeing 63 landowners. A couple weeks time to put something like this together. It's a lot of hard work with members and landowners, and Lynn and I put quite a few hard hours into an event like this, plus a lot of the other club members' help also.
It takes approximately 70 members to run an event on event day.
How many miles long is this run typically?
Last year we had 59.6 miles of actual trail, I believe. And then there was about 20-some miles of reset. So you figure around 60-mile actual, and I think we end up with around 80 to 90 on the route chart.
This is one of your favorite mud holes, isn't it?
That's probably a 40-year-old mud hole. That land there, a lot of the guys wonder why we banner that off and make them go right through that hole, but Norm, that's the only way we can use that farmer's land. It's been a tradition for years, and if we want to go through it, they have to go through there to get to the back.
When you say that's a 40-year-old mud hole, I believe it. It looks like it's never dried up in 40 years.
No, but actually there is a sandbar right in the middle of that, and if these guys are making it a little tougher than it is, you'll see here later on, I'm sure there'll be some guys that know how to get across it and not have to slow down much.
This guy looks like he's rototilling it here.
Yeah, he's boiling some of the old pigs that sunk in there up, I think. There's a few of them in there from years ago.
Genuine soup hole.
For some reason, it's boiled up a sand and gravel bar in the middle of it in the last 5-6 years. You'll see, probably sooner or later, we'll see somebody hit it. That's Jim Robson from Southern Ohio. On the Honda there, bouncing up and over.
This fellow looks like he lost his seat there.
Now that's our District 11 Enduro chairman, Jeff Lowry there. I think a guy with that much experience could tighten his bolts up before he took off. Jeff's a good guy. Puts in a lot of hard time down at the District 11, fighting for Enduros and their rights. Jeff's a member of the Wayne National Trail Riders down there fighting for the forest. There's a man who knew what he was doing, Norm.
Yeah, he had the momentum and the right line, didn't he?
In a mud hole like that, you just got to keep the momentum, and maybe if you get in trouble, throw it to the other side for the last minute to get out of it, and pick it up from there and get out of the way.
He just about didn't have enough momentum.
Sections like that's a lot easier if you learn to get on the gas, but a lot of guys are hesitant at times like that. This guy's in trouble.
Yep, he only went about a foot to the right of where those 3 guys in a row made it.
Yeah, a little help there. As you can see, Enduros has helped a couple riders there that's probably done for the day, come through to help the rest of them get through bad spots. A little crowd encouragement.
Technically, I think that the only riders that are allowed to help each other are ones that are still actively in the run. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be that way, but no one's ever
Nobody
enforced
ever
the
complained.
No.
you're out there, you'll take anybody's help.
Yep, at a time like that, you'll take help anywhere it comes from.
See there, Tim Hart picked a pretty good line. He just fell over at the end, but he basically got the right theory done. Get to the other side and then worry about getting up. Whoops. Greenville's been known for spots like this over the years.
Yes, I've heard about a few, yes.
Yeah, a lot of the riders in southeastern Ohio won't even talk to you when you say you're from Treaty City Motorcycle Club. But we've heard about you guys. You lay out a nasty one. Some of the older fellows just keep coming up because when we started out, it was just a chore. If you finished Greenville's Enduro, you trophy. It's not quite that bad anymore.
I mean, how bad can flatland be?
Well, from the looks of this, it could be pretty bad.
It didn't even rain this year, Norm. Wait till we get a good storm.
Well, maybe you'll have some good weather the week before the one they have this year.
Yeah, I always hope for good weather. I mean, it makes it nicer for the guys to ride, and it makes it nicer for us. It's a lot less work. To get nice weather a couple, 3 weeks before, it makes it a lot easier on us and the riders, and everybody ends up having a little bit better time than if you get a downpour for a week.
Of course, if you get a downpour, it's more fun for the spectators.
Yeah, the spectators get a workout.
Hey, one way or another, somebody has a good time.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a lot of fun.
We have a lot of fun laying it out. That's the main part of our objective. We have fun laying it out and give these guys a place to ride. Hopefully the riders respect it enough to respect the land that we mark and stay on the trail, and we can keep doing this for another 50 years. This must be towards the end of the run.
Yeah, I think this was in the last main section.
See, a lot of these guys got their coat unzipped and kind of hoping that this is it, I think, the way it looks. Planning on making it up to this year's, Norm?
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't miss it, huh?
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Just about as good as Blackwater, huh?
And a lot closer by.
And a lot closer.
I see here we're back at the finish.
Yeah, you can see some beat up machines there. I don't know where they ran into any problems at. There wasn't anything that tough out there, I don't think.
Yeah, there was.
Third check, I think. And I dropped 33 points at the third check, or 30 points. Overall, I dropped 74. But I seized my motor and I sat there for a long time.
Yeah. Kirk looked like he was doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
He was pretty close on time even near the end. But
I couldn't make up my mind through a mud hole and that bird get in front of me, and that was the mistake of my life because he buried me in the mud. And I got stuck along the long side of a marsh, picked the wrong line there and got buried.
well, you looked like you were doing pretty good when I saw you.
Yeah, I had a good ride.
You'll see a lot of these around.
Did you finish?
Yeah, I'm in another tiebreaker with the guy that was in a tiebreaker last week. He beat me by 14 seconds the last time. I think Dickie won. He's over there.
Yeah.
Kieran. It ain't. No, you got yours. He saw that laying on the trail and picked it up. Oh, yeah. How do you think he did today?
I don't know. Paul just looked out a
Is this on? Like,
Yeah.
Looks like they're tallying up all the scores.
Yeah, that's the hardest part of the day, I think, when the scorecards come in and figuring up who lost how many points. Some guys said it was a good ride, some guys said there was a big mud hole out there. I didn't see any myself. Anyway, the guy that overall, good thing he did, because he didn't bring the travel trophy back anyway. Come to ride but forgot the plaque. So he'll keep it at home and engrave his name on it again. Score 11 points, Kurt Huff overall.
Well, Ron and Lynn, thanks a lot for talking to us about this, and I'm really looking forward to this year's event.
Thank you, Norm.
Thank you, Norm.
Well, that's all we have time for this month. So until next time, I'd like to personally invite you to join the over 7 million riders who enjoy the world of motorcycling. See you next time.